You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Hi, my name is Blake, and I have just a quick note before we get started. Actually, it's more like a recommendation because this podcast is an immersive audio storytelling experience, part fact, part fantasy. So it's best that you listen with headphones on, imagination on, and everything else turned off. Welcome to Abandoned, the All-American Ruins podcast. Season 3, Episode 8. Someone lives here. Part 1. The Imagined. Once upon a time, there was a house on a boulevard on the Yucatan Peninsula on the planet Earth. Inside lived a man who wore boat shoes, his wife who hosted parties, and their 2 children who hated socialites. Every night the moon would rise high above their humble abode, part of the quaint, colorful city of Merida, and offer them a blessing.
Esta noche dormirán con sus ojos cerrados, pero con sus corazones abiertos.
Tonight, you will sleep with your eyes closed, but your heart open. And every night, the man, his wife, and their 2 children would fall fast asleep, with their eyes closed but their hearts open, underneath the silver spring moon. They would drift off to landscapes made of cotton candy and cotton balls, dark forests filled with missing person signs all through the wood, and train rides to nowhere, and conversations with talking animals, and a hammock in a summer field somewhere in the middle of the country, somewhere safe for somebody. But then, one night, the man and his wife got into a fight with their 2 children. They pitched insults at one another, and they screeched questions about each other's moral compasses, and they cried out loud. And the man and his wife stormed off to bed, and the 2 children stormed off to theirs, and as they settled into their beds, the lights began to flicker.
Las luces comienzan a parpadear.
And then snap! A loud, harsh cracking sound, like a gong, but more direct. The house went dark. All of the lights went out. Everything was still. And the clouds in the sky parted ways as the moon pushed her way to the front. She had tears in her eyes, and she quivered.
Esta noche un ser humano me ha hecho llorar.
A human made me cry tonight. She was barely able to catch her breath as the night sky began to unfold.
Esto no me deja alternativa.
This leaves me no choice.
Siento mucho lo que voy a hacer.
I'm sorry for what I must do. She took a breath, then turned her eyes to the bedroom of the 2 children, She slowly lifted a stream of her best light directly into their room, beckoning them to come and open the window. The two children grabbed the hands of the outstretched moonshine and drifted out, floating through the window and up into the night sky. Then, silence. Pure, unsettling silence. Then, the man and his wife yawned, awake. They noticed that the night sky was gone, and that the day had started, and that they couldn't hear their two children. The house was still. The wife sat up, slowly, leaning into the quiet to see if she couldn't hear something lurking in the cavernous silence. But nothing. A draft of wind, perhaps, but nothing more. And the wife called for her children. And the man called for his children. Then in unison they both called for their children. And still nothing. From there, the town police opened an investigation on their disappearance. The Office of Public Safety went through all the motions to try and locate the missing children. The public outcry waxed, then waned, and nothing ever came of the search for the two missing children. For the next 3 years, the man and his wife lived in a chamber of isolation, paranoid and distrustful of the outside world, despaired by the unsolved kidnapping of their two children. Then, they both died of mysterious causes, and that humble abode, a house on a boulevard, in part of the quaint, humble city of Merida on the Yucatan Peninsula, on the planet Earth, it sat empty for decades. Vandals slowly pickpocketed their way through the house's personal belongings and left the rest to rot. Then it was forgotten, graffitied. It sat on the same corner in broad daylight every day, waiting to be seen again. Or something like that. Part 2. The truth. Mostly. Someone lives here. I think someone lives here. I think that I know because there's an orange, yellow, and purple hammock strung up in the courtyard on the first floor. There's also a candle, a bouquet of fake flowers, a mop, a mirror, and a crucifix laying on the ground next to the bed swing, and an empty carton of Nescafe latte on the stairs nearby. I scan the Spanish nutritional information as I pass by. I don't know how to feel about this place. The contrast of this large house to this humble vagabond bedroom setup is difficult to swallow.
Okay, so this must have been abandoned.
I hope that whoever lives here, if someone lives here, they can stay here for good.
It feels so empty. Well,
It's a sizable house in one of the ritzier neighborhoods.
lives here?
It's been abandoned for quite some time. The smell of human feces wafts through the drafty spring air, the glow of morning light drifting down from the sky above the Yucatan Peninsula. The structure is composed of mostly concrete and tile, 2 stories, spacious, open, and occupied. American ruins, even if it isn't in the United States. Access is easy. There are 3 entrances on the front of the building, not to mention extraneous doors and porticos guarding various entrances into the house, on every single side of the high walls that protect the property.
Lived here.
I choose the door positioned inside the open-air garage because it's cracked the widest. There's a staircase to my left, blanketed in years of trash and dust. A bedroom to my right, where I find a single boat shoe and a calendar filled with appointments, and a roll of stickers, and a hallway down the middle that leads to the back of the wreckage where an empty pool collects tree shavings, mosquito carcasses, and dust.
There's no way someone's not living here.
I kneel at the altar of the hammock and close my eyes. My imagination goes into sudden overdrive, and out of the darkness, a kind face appears. It's a woman in her 30s, dark brown skin, exactly my height. And warmth radiates from her eyes as I open mine, smiling as the apparition stands in front of me, and she extends her hand.
Mi nombre es Angélica.
Angelica picks me up and drags me past the dusty stairs, past the utility room, and straight down the hallway to the pool deck out back. She nudges me to take photos with my iPhone.
Take some photos.
I was unprepared today and didn't bring my new camera.
Go ahead.
I've been practicing with it, and I feel a bit disappointed that I don't have it, but Angelica reassures me.
Don't worry. No te preocupes.
Don't worry. Right. I begin to note my surroundings. Almost immediately, I notice graffiti of a machine gun on the 2nd floor. It flips my stomach. The breeze wraps its arms around me as Angelica places her hands on my shoulders. I don't like guns. I never have.
Jefferson County 911. Yes, I am a teacher at Columbine High School. There is a student here with a gun. He has shot out a window. I believe one I've been Columbine High School. I don't know what's in my shoulder. If it was just a last beat through it. Okay, has anybody been injured, ma'am? Yes.
The investigation into the high school massacre is slow-moving and dangerous. The 2 gunmen who went on the rampage booby-trapped the building and even themselves. All day long, investigators have searched the homes of both teenage killers. In one of them, police say they found bomb-making materials.
The yearbook pictures with handwritten captions about insanity. This alleged trenchcoat mafia website shut down shortly after ABC News took these pictures. It even had a so-called hit list mentioning jocks and one substitute teacher as
On the day Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris murdered 16 of their classmates and 1 teacher at Columbine High School, I was standing with my friend Justin at the back of the field behind my elementary school, about an hour south of Littleton, Colorado. We were in 5th grade. Justin was bragging about making out with Alexa, as I was secretly dreaming about making out with Justin, when I noticed Vice Principal Peggy Heeler running towards us with fervor and urgency. I turned and watched as teachers rushed kids off the playground. Something was wrong. I looked back at Mrs. Heeler, who was shouting something, and my instinct kicked in and I bolted to the school. I didn't know why I was running, but I knew there was danger in our midst. Hours later, after the school lockdown let up and Mom came to pick up my sister and me, I learned that Columbine High School was the site of a bloody massacre. I learned that my brother was supposed to run in a track meet there, that day. And I learned slowly over time that many, many adults don't care if kids get slaughtered at school, that the Republican Party's answer to widespread violence is to equip teachers with guns. I learned that by and large, the epidemic of school shootings exists solely in the United States. And I learned that I hate guns.
He has nothing to say because he's paid to do this. He had 30 appointments where he went around and got to talk to senators. I got to talk to none. He had media coverage all over the place. I had zero. Guess what? I'm a gun owner. I'm an American citizen. And I have nothing. But this guy with his George Soros funding and his major liberal funding has got everything. I want you to think about that.
Angelica's hands squeeze my shoulders as I come to. I'm sitting underneath the graffiti of the machine gun at the abandoned house in Merida. And I'm crying. I've got tears catapulting from my eyes onto the rotted pavement, and my heart beats rapidly, trying to escape my chest cavity. Angelica crouches down and hugs her arms around me.
Está bien.
It's okay.
Está bien.
It's okay.
Está bien. Está bien. Está bien. Está bien. Está bien. Está bien. Está bien.
It's okay. And I glance up at the sky, trying to catch my breath, but nothing helps. I'm inconsolable. Angelica doesn't mind. She holds me close and continues to tell me everything will be okay. I pull my arms close to my back and sob, years of anger and sadness tumbling out of my body through my salty, apathetic tears. As my cries begin to subside, I close my eyes again and whisper to Angelica, "Gracias. Muchos gracias." And I open my eyes and she's gone. Her arms no longer embracing my sorrow. And my phone rings. It's Perla, my friend who's hosting my time in Merida. We were at her son's basketball game when I decided to take a walk and happened upon the ruins of this homestead.
Yeah, the game is over. Where are you?
Blake, the game is over. I pocket my phone and peer up at the graffiti of the machine gun one last time. I rest my hand on the wall and can hear Angelica's steady heartbeat. I descend the cracked and ragged staircase, and as I go to leave, I pass by the makeshift hammock one last time. Someone lives here. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the third season of Abandoned, the All-American Ruins podcast. Join me every other week as I take you on an immersive sonic journey, recounting my expeditions of abandoned spaces across the United States, which I transform into fantastical audio experiences that allow you, dear listener, to dive into my imagination with me, or maybe inspire you to go out and use your own. If you don't want to miss it, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, if you like to read or enjoy amateur photography, just know that each episode this season is adapted from the original All-American Ruins blog, where you can catch up on more of my adventures. Just visit allamericanruins.com or follow me on Instagram at allamericanruins. Abandoned, the All-American Ruins podcast is hosted, written, edited, and produced by me, Blake File, with studio space courtesy of Radio Kingston, WKNY, AM 1490, FM 1079 in Kingston, New York. Also, a huge shout out to my big brother Ryan, who provided very valuable feedback on every script for every episode this season. Special thanks to Perla, Joseph, Dorian, Elsa, and you, my friend, for taking the time to explore these abandoned spaces with me.